Hi Stampers, it's Kathy, and a couple weeks ago I showed you some cards that I made with the branching out bundle, and today I'm going to show you how I made this card in particular using the stamp set and the coordinating die. So as you can see, this is embossed back here. And then I'm going to specifically show you how I did the stamping on this. So what you're going to need to make this card is an Early Espresso card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then you'll need a piece of crumb cake cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And then this is really a full piece of the cardstock. 4 by 5 1/4, and then I cut out one of the layers from the branching out dies. Now, when I have a set of dies like this, I always cut out the samples to show you what it looks like. And when I number the dies, I always start with the smallest. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 is the size that I used to cut that out. All right, so that's going to be, that just saves you a piece of paper. You could cut it out and then cut this out of another piece, but it just kind of saves you some paper. And then the Early Espresso, I used the number 5. It's the next one larger, and that's going to be the matte. So I cut that out of Early Espresso. And then you're just going to need a 1-inch piece, a strip for the sentiment. And then I just stamped the sentiment, which is from this stamp set. This card, I made it as a birthday card for someone who might have a birthday in the winter. It would also make a very nice Christmas card or holiday card, or for any holiday at the winter time of the year with having the snow on it there. So I just had a strip, and then I stamped my sentiment. I did emboss it, and then I just cut it down to the size that I needed. So that's what you're going to need to make this card. And I'll just leave that there in case you want to make a screenshot. And I'll also post a picture of this later to show you what you need to make the card. All right, so let me just basically take the crumb cake piece and do the stamping. And then I'll show you how to assemble it at the end. Okay, so when I'm using the photopolymer, I do like to use the Piercy Matte to do my stamping, and I'm going to piece of scrap paper here so that because I'm going to overlap a little bit on this piece. So I'm taking the largest of the branches on the stamp set. It's the larger of the 2 branches, and I used Early Espresso ink. And I'm going to, because it's such a large stamp, I'm going to stamp on it this way to make sure I get it all inked up. And I'm just lightly tapping. I'm not going crazy. And then I'm going to kind of just tilt this on an angle across from the bottom to the top of this layer. So I'm going to press that down. With photopolymer, I like to leave it on for a couple seconds to let that ink release from the stamp. Again, Stampin' Up! Is going to all photopolymer, I believe, starting with the next online exclusives in November. So it's good to know techniques for using these photopolymer stamps. And I personally like to clean them off right away to reduce the staining. They will stain, but if you clean them up right away, you'll reduce it. So now I'm going to come in with the shaded spruce ink, and I'm going to stamp the pine needles, and I'm choosing to use the smaller of the 3. So there's one of the stamps that are close together and one is further apart. You could actually do both. You could do them in different colors to give it like more depth and more fullness to the needles. I just really like it, the 3 simple, less full. But that's your choice to do it what you want and to play around with it and try different ways. Okay, so I'm going to tap that ink, and then I'm actually going over the branches. So I'm actually stamping on top of the Early Espresso, and you can sort of see it, but it makes it look more natural so they're not floating in the air anywhere. And so this one I'm going to kind of bring down here. It's hard to do it without getting my head in the camera. And then do one more down here. Like that. Again, you could go with the other stamp and go in there with a lighter or a darker shade, or stamp off with the sprues to get them more full. I just liked this look myself. I sometimes think less is more. Let me clean this up real quick. You can see I have been stamping a lot with these, and because I clean them off right away, it does reduce the staining. So that I like. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the little pine cone. So there are 2 pine cones. I think they're the same. I don't see any difference. So I just took one of them. And I used Pecan Pie ink pad. And I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to kind of just come in here and try to get that up against a branch so it looks like it's hanging off. And you can do as many or as few of these as you want. You could do another color if you want. I just thought this pecan pie looked nice. I really like this pecan pie color. Okay, let me do a couple more down here. And this one I'm trying to make it look like there's some little branches that it's coming off of that. Let's do one here. And we'll do one down here. Okay, again, I have my piercing mat there. This gives it a little bit more of a surface that you can press down into it to release the ink as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the snow. And in this stamp set is this little splatter here. So I didn't have a block handy, so I took my bigger block and just put it towards the end. You kind of want to use a block that's as close to the size of your stamp as possible. But when I don't have that, I just put it up near the end. And then I just tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to go in here and tap on the snowflakes in different places, in different ways to fill in that space. Okay, so it looks like it's snowing. And I'm doing this to let the ink dry a little bit on the green and the pecan, so when I put the snow on top, it won't run. You could take your heat tool and dry it first. I don't want to waste the time doing that. So hopefully this will be dry enough. Oh, okay, let me leave this out. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I just took there's one single pine needle thingy right here. And so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to kind of do the tips of it. I'm inking up just the tips. Or when you're putting it down on the stamp, on the image, you're going to go right over top this image. Just do the top of it. Re-ink it, and we're just getting the tops to make it look like the snow stuck on the tops of that right there. So let me go through quickly and just do that on all the tips. And I think this is easier to control. You could use the same one that I used originally to stamp it, but and you could do it, the entire thing over in white. I mean, there's so many things you can do. This is just what I liked the look of, just on the tip, and this could control it. Okay, and that didn't run at all. Sometimes if you do it too soon, the green ink will run onto that. But that didn't happen. I'm cleaning this off again. And I'm going to come in with the pine cone and do the same thing. Just the tips. Make it look like this, the snow is falling. Maybe I should do the other end of the ones if they're hanging down. I don't know. We'll just do tips. Okay, now you could probably leave this like this and just let it dry with the white ink, but because it's craft ink and it's sticky, let me wipe this off. I'm going to come in with my white, wow, bright white embossing powder, and I probably should have gone over this with the embossing buddy, but I don't emboss that much, so I always forget to do that. And I'm just going to liberally cover that and then tap it off so that powder has stuck to all the places that I embossed. Let me put this back into the container. Don't want that all blowing around when I'm heat embossing. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and heat this up. So excuse the sound, but I want to show you what this looks like as you heat it up. You'll see once it gets hot enough, it melts right there. It starts to change, and you can just go over the entire thing until the embossing powder melts. Because I'm holding this, I'm going to get my take your pick tool to hold it down because it gets hot. I don't want it so close to my hands. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So then it's just a matter of layering everything together. So you have your card base, and then you're going to take the piece. Again, I cut this piece out of the 4 by 5 1/4 piece first, and then I embossed this. So then I would glue down this layer. And I would probably use my liquid glue so that I could get this, where I wanted it. And then I'm going to layer this piece, and I'm going to do that onto the larger of the dies. And again, if you use your liquid glue, gives you time to move that around to get it with a nice even border all around. And then on my card, I used the linen thread and wrapped it around a couple times like this. I just wrap it around. And then when I come back again, I tie a bow. But I wanted to point out that their online exclusive is this Early Espresso and Old Olive linen thread pack. So the Early Espresso would match this if you wanted to do that instead, or if you used Old Olive for the pine needles, then that would look nice, and that would probably look nice too. So either tie that around there with the linen thread. And then I used my Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this layer up off of the card front. And then just add your greeting. And then a few embellishments if you wanted. I just added one little embellishment there, because I don't think it really needs it with all everything else that's going on. So that's all you have to do to make that kind of a wow card. Now let me show you the other cards that I made using this bundle. This one, I hope it shows how many plastic. Very simply, I did do a sponging here in the background. I made a stencil using the dies and then stamped the pines on top of that. I think that's really, really nice. And then here's a double time stamping where I stamped it on the bigger of the white labels, and then I die cut this out of that picture with the mat behind it. Kind of makes it pop up interesting. And then this one is a very simple, again, just stamping the branches and the needles, and then I used one of the Memories and More cards, or I don't know what they're called, Memories and More, or Mix and Match, the Mix and Match card bases. So makes that really easy. Another one I just did the same with just the branches and the greens, and I used some of the designer paper from that Christmas and Tags pack that's in the catalog. And then these are the ephemera pack, the stickers. A little bit of gold piece there. Just love that. And then these are the ones I did with the fall, where I used the fall designer paper, but I used the die cut pieces. So the other die cut pieces make really nice accents for your cards. You can see here, isn't that pine cone neat with that texture on it? And then I also used them for some Christmas cards using the Memory and More cards. Here I used the cardstock, and here I used gold foil to pick up the gold foil in that paper. So there you have it. I hope that if you have this stamp set, or if you're going to plan on purchasing it, definitely get the bundle so you have these awesome dies. And then I hope you'll give this a try. So thanks for stopping by. See you next time.